Welcome to Coastline News. I'm your host, Amanda McCord.
And I'm Annie Miller.
A former California police officer is accused of killing 3 people, targeting his crimes at law enforcement, and now he's the subject of a massive manhunt. Christopher Jordan Dorner, just 3 years on the job as a Los Angeles cop, was fired, and he allegedly made false statements about a training officer in a lengthy letter apparently written by Dorner and provided to CNN by an LAPD source. He allegedly threatened to use his Navy training to harm police officers involved in his case and their families. He is quoted saying, "I will bring unconventional and asymmetrical warfare to those in LAPD uniform, whether on or off duty." In Irvine, a couple was shot to death in the parking deck of their upscale apartment complex. The victims were Monica Kwan and her fiancé. Kwan's father, Randy, was a retired LAPD cop who worked with Dorner. Wednesday night, police named Dorner the chief suspect in those Sunday night murders. Police warned the public that he is armed and dangerous. Dorner is a Navy reservist who is known to be a skilled marksman. Anyone who sees Dorner is asked to report it to 911 immediately.
Sunday was the 47th annual Super Bowl between the San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens. Over 100 million people watched the game, making it the 3rd most watched broadcast in TV history. While most sports fans would agree that it was a very entertaining game, it's the 30-minute long power outage that gained the most attention. New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu said everything had gone perfectly except for that one hitch. The mayor said it would not define the city.
Students in Spain are on strike. It is the 2nd strike education in 4 months. This time, the high school students are protesting against the alleged corruption within the government. The students are demanding the resignation of that government. No serious incidents have occurred in any of the calls.
More than 24 people are recovering from injuries after a tour bus crash near Yucaipa, California. 8 people died from the crash that has been linked to a bus company with troubled safety record. The bus crashed on Highway 38 while returning from a trip to Big Bear Mountain. The bus contained a U.S. Department of Transportation identification number that linked it to a small company in National City, California. The company has been repeatedly cited in recent years for problems, including brake and tire issues.
A fire that broke out on Buena Vista Lagoon has been completely contained, according to Oceanside Fire Chief Pete Lawrence. The blaze took place off the 2100 block of South Coast Highway. The fire broke out around 5:30 a.m. and decreasing winds drove the fire toward a nearby developed area. Fire crews were able to stop the flames before they caused any property damage.
Coming up next on Coastline News, see what surprising thing happened to a 9-year-old girl.
And take a look at Point Loma's very own Superfest. Mexican authorities say a 9-year-old girl has given birth in western Mexico and they are looking for the purported father, a 17-year-old. The girl gave birth to a female and both mother and daughter are doing well. A state police spokesperson said that if the father's paternity test can be proven, he could face child abuse charges.
Point Loma Nazarene University recently welcomed top-of-the-line athletes to talk about their careers and their faith. Coastline reporter Amanda McCord has more on the story.
It was an event that only comes once a year. A day when professional athletes go from HD to larger than life. How excited are you to get to learn from real football players?
Really excited.
The 3rd annual Superfest was hosted by Point Loma Nazarene University and put on by the Rock Church. There were professional skaters, surfers, baseball players, football players, boxing champions, and lots of kids. All of them were lined up for the chance to meet the men that they've cheered for on television and worn their jerseys with pride. But in some cases, it was actually the parents who took more joy in the opportunity than their children. Less than a year ago, Tyrone and his family were homeless. Now, thanks to Superfest, he gets to do what every dad dreams of doing: help his kids achieve their dreams. Tyrone Lester, like so many other Americans, is trying to get back on his feet and support his family again. He's spent the last 5 months in the East County Transitional Living Center with his wife and their 4 children, including 7-year-old Jalen. Jalen dreams of being an NFL running back, and Lester has taken it upon himself, despite his circumstances, to help his son achieve what he never could.
But I didn't have that father figure to push me
to motivate me. I didn't have no one to motivate me, so having a child now, a son that's into sports so much, and he's really good at it. It just gives me the pleasure just to be motivating him and just to keep on pushing him. It gives me a whole lot of joy just to be there by his side, pushing him, push him in the right path.
Lester took his son to the soccer clinic first because he knows what every running back knows. The key to success on the ground starts with the footwork. It's something he's already teaching young Jaden. What has he taught you?
How to juke people.
After a few rounds of soccer, it was out to the field to get some footwork advice from an NFL quarterback. Ryan Lindley, quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals and SDSU alumni, agreed with Lester's recipe for success.
So I'll just say if you do play soccer, you'll probably be more athletic, but that'd probably be a good idea.
For Point TV, Amanda McCord.
The multi-million-dollar plan to renovate Balboa Park in time for the city's centennial celebration is no longer in motion. San Diego City Judge Timothy Taylor pulled the plug on the construction of a bypass road off the Cabrillo Bridge and underground parking lot. Judge Taylor said the City of San Diego and the Plaza de Panama Committee violated municipal code.
So, Annie, have you seen those meme things on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, so I saw this one the other day that I thought was very applicable to California. It had a picture on the top of 50 degrees in California, and everyone's in parkas and sweaters and scarves and everything. And it says 50 degrees in Colorado, and it's these kids in their bathing suit playing in the hose. And I felt that it was really appropriate because it's been very cold here, probably around 50.
It's freezing for us.
And I've been in my attempt at a parka. So I'm just wondering, Grant, do you know, is it going to stay cold for longer?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be cold all week, for the rest of the week and all weekend up until about Tuesday. But let's go ahead and look at right now your Thursday night weather forecast. We got temperatures at 55 degrees right now, 13-mile-an-hour winds. Humidity is about 57%. That's about average for San Diego, but 90% precipitation. That means rain. Rain about 10 o'clock this evening, all the way up until Saturday evening. But let's go ahead and look at your map for weather temperatures all throughout the Southern California. Up north, up in Irvine and Temecula, 49 and 39. Inland at Fallbrook is 45, same down in the mids. 41 at Ramona, 34 at Julian. San Diego's a comfortable 48 this evening, not too bad, and 45 at El Cajon. Let's go ahead and look at tomorrow, Friday's forecast during the day. 55s all up in the north, Irvine, Temecula, 50 at Ramona. Inland at Julian is 43. They got a cold week. 57 at El Cajon and 55 at San Diego. Let's look at Friday night. 39 at Irvine and 32 inland at Temecula. They got a very cold evening. 37 at Fallbrook. Down south, 43 at San Diego. Again, not too bad. 39 at El Cajon. 32 at Ramona, and inland at Julian, 28. Ooh, ouch. But let's go ahead and look at our 5-day forecast for here in San Diego. You guys already know about Friday, 55 degrees and 43 in the evening. Saturday's the same. Expect some rain all throughout Saturday, 55 and 43 in the evening. 59 Sunday, 43 in the evening again. Then we're going to start warming up, 61 degrees Monday, 43 again in the evening. Tuesday, 64 and 43, and it should start warming up after that. But let's go ahead and look at your surf report as of right now. Wave height, 6 feet, 5 inches, way up there, way above your head. Wind, 8 miles per hour from the east. High tide is going to happen at 8:04 p.m. Low tide already happened earlier in the day at 2:01 p.m. And that's your forecast here in Point Loma. Now let's go back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Grant. The father of a PLNU student survived a coma when doctors said he wouldn't. Coastline News reporter Amy Sear has more on the story.
When most people see a golf course, they think of relaxation, fun with friends, or even a day off. But when Cami Carisu sees one, she's once again reminded of her father's devastating encounter with death. What started off as a sweet day of golf soon turned sour when Bob, Cami's father, collapsed with a heart attack. Thankfully, golfers behind him knew CPR.
Craig Beam immediately sped over to him and started giving him CPR, compression-only CPR, for about 25 minutes until the paramedics finally arrived. They had to redefibrillate him 4 times because they lost him 4 times.
After being rushed to the hospital and receiving 3 stents in his heart, Bob began stabilizing. However, this was short-lived.
The next phone call I received was at 2:30 in the morning at the hotel, telling us that Bob had had a massive stroke.
Due to oxygen deprivation during the heart attack, Bob's stroke sent him into a coma.
They gave us our condolences, they shook our hands, hugged us, and asked if we wanted the clergy.
I remember yelling these 4 things at him when he was in his coma. You promised you would see me graduate high school. You promised you would see me go to college. You promised you would walk me down the aisle, and you promised that you would see your grandchildren.
I personally couldn't handle it, so I ran out of the room crying.
After 3 days of waiting, Cammie realized it was out of her hands.
I was praying with my cousin over my dad, just praying to God to let me please accept his will and whatever it be done for his glory. And as soon as I said amen, my dad woke up out of his coma, which is a miracle beyond belief, so I could say that I witnessed a miracle. And from then on, he defied every single odd that the doctor said, that he wouldn't recognize us, that he wouldn't walk again, that he wouldn't remember my name. But trust me, he remembered my mom and I perfectly.
And 2 years later, just like he promised, Bob was able to see his daughter off to college.
Having my dad wake up from his coma, having God do that, I think that was definitely him saying, if you trust in me, I will take care of you. He is here today, and I am very, very blessed.
That was Coastline reporter Amy Sear. The manager of an El Cajon tattoo shop is suffering serious injuries to the head after fighting for his life. Around 2 a.m., manager Jimmy Blue was awakened by 2 men robbing him at gunpoint and making an attempt to steal his motorcycle and money. He was hit in the head several times with a gun while battling against the 2 robbery suspects.
34-year-old Kelly Mackenzie Watson will be spending a year in jail for having sexual relations with her former student. During sentencing, it was discovered that Watson was pregnant with the former student's child, and she is expected to give birth in April. Watson was ordered to not have any direct contact with the teen for 5 years. Authorities will be assessing Watson's sentence after she gives birth with the possibility of probation. Watson will not have to register as a sex offender.
Coming up in just a few minutes, see what changes the U.S. Post Office is making.
And see why Chris Brown is making headlines yet again.
The San Diego County flu epidemic is now considered the 2nd deadliest on record. According to the Health and Human Services Agency, the death toll has risen to 30 people. 58 people died during the H1N1 pandemic in 2009, according to HHSA. All but one of the victims had an underlying medical condition. Mail delivery on the weekend is soon to end. The U.S. Postal Service will stop delivering mail on Saturdays, but will continue to deliver packages 6 days a week. Post offices will continue to be open on Saturdays, but the initiative will save almost $2 billion annually. The USPS had a $15.9 billion financial loss in 2012.
You know, we were talking earlier about how cold we are here with our 50-degree weather, right? Well,
Freezing.
Very cold. So I heard that the Point Loma basketball team is getting to do something kind of cool, take a tropical vacation of sports and play a few games while they're over there.
Yeah.
Jay, can you tell us more?
Thanks, ladies. Yeah, you'll hear more about that in a second. Well, I'm Jacob Roth, and this is your Coastline Sports Report. Let's start with a look at how your Sea Lions are doing this week. The basketball teams hosted Notre Dame de Amour Monday night in another Pac-West. Just over 3 minutes remaining. Jessica Escorza and Savannah Erskine each added 11 points and 4 steals. The ladies have won 4 of their last 5 games. Now on the men's side, I'm happy to report that the streak is finally over. The Sea Lions picked up their first Pac-West win of the season, beating the Argonauts 57-56. The men trailed by 11 points at halftime, but the Sea Lions battled back into the game with their Pac-West leading defense. AJ Ussery made the 2 biggest plays of the game for the Sea Lions. The junior made a driving layup with 13 seconds left to give the Sea Lions the lead, but the Argonauts had one more chance to score. But Ussery stole the ball to seal the win for Point Loma. This weekend, the basketball teams will head to Hawaii for a little Pac-West action on the islands. During the week, they'll take on all 4 of the Pac-West Hawaii schools, starting with Hawaii Pacific Saturday night. Now let's look at the NFL. Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco sure knows a thing or two about timing. The Super Bowl MVP's contract is up after this season, and he's in the process of negotiating a new deal with the Ravens. After leading Baltimore to a 34-31 Super Bowl win Sunday, Flacco looks to be earning himself a hefty payday. Flacco's agent, Joe Linta, said he expects Flacco's deal to be worth upwards of $20 million a year, which would make Flacco the highest paid quarterback in the league. Also, one last update I'm just receiving. Kobe Bryant scored 27 points, but unfortunately, Lakers fans, it was not enough as the Lakers lost by 20 points in their return to Boston against the hated Celtics. But as a Spurs fan, sorry I'm not sorry. Well, that's all I have for you guys tonight. I'm Jacob Roth, and that was your Coastline Sports Report.
And that's all we have for you tonight. Thank you again for tuning in.
That's right. See you again right here in 2 weeks. Have a good night, Point Loma.